It's time for the Money Puzzle Podcast. With good conversations and realistic solutions to the money puzzles we all face every day. I'm your host, financial advisor, chartered financial consultant, and president of Edgen Insurance and Financial, Robert Edgen. Now let's get this show started. Hi there, hello, and welcome to the Money Puzzle Podcast. I am Robert Edgen, and I'll be your guide for the ride for the next few minutes. Each week, we look at a different piece of the money puzzle and practical ways to solve it so you can have the financial confidence you deserve and the
future that you dream of.
That's right. Here with me in studio today is my good buddy from Denver, Mr. Brian Johnson. Thanks for joining me in the studio.
You're welcome.
We are talking about the 60s today.
Not 1960.
And not our 60s.
No, so, almost.
Well, for you.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about the decade of the 60s. We've been actually working our way through all of the generations, one decade at a time, and the most important money moves to make during each decade. Now, we're getting close to retirement as far as the series goes, and we are going to be looking at the most important things to do when you're in your 60s. Now, Brian, personally, I hate getting older. I fight it every single day. What about you? Do you care? Do you not care?
I do because my kids are getting older, but otherwise I don't.
You don't. And it's actually, I have a lot of people that I talk to every day who actually can't wait to get into their 60s because they want to retire.
No, I don't ever really plan on retiring ever. Someday I want to slow down some, but I just don't see the point, especially right now. I can't imagine not working at all. I just don't. It's too far from me. I don't get it.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk about today is the concept of retirement not being a light switch, but more of it being a dimmer.
Right.
Adjusting priorities up and down, because ultimately retirement is about having the freedom to choose how you spend your time.
Well, right. So as an example, like my stepdad, he's retired 5 times.
Yeah.
He's now 76, almost 77 years old, and he's still working. Why? Because what else is he going to do? Yeah, he runs out of stuff to do.
My stepdad actually just had this conversation with my mom this morning. He just turned in his retirement for January 28th. He's 80, by the way. Oh, and 80. This is, I'm pretty sure, his 7th retirement.
Yeah.
So
why not?
Right. So he's retiring again.
Yeah.
Now, here's my question. Do you get a big retirement party if you retire 7 times?
You get a Casio.
Like a watch?
Yeah.
The first one's a Rolex.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you work your way down.
Seiko, and then by the time a Timex, then you get a Casio.
Yeah.
So, okay. Got it. All right. Well,
with really big numbers.
You need them. All right. I'm excited to get into this conversation. In fact, I'm so excited to talk about the 60s that we're going to skip the news today because we have a lot of information to get.
We do. And it is a lot of information. It's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
It's a great time to look forward to once you get there.
So I don't want to get there any sooner than I need to.
No, that's why we'll keep drinking coffee, keep our energy up.
So that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So cheers to that.
Cheers.
So, all right, let's go ahead and get into today's hot topic. All right, so today's hot topic, like we mentioned, we're getting into our 60s. We finally made it, and we're getting close to retirement. Yep. But wait, there is still some very, very important things that you need to get done in this decade to make sure that your retirement doesn't just start great, but that it stays great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
We talk to folks a lot of times where they're all set, they're ready to retire, they retire, and then they can't stay retired because they didn't plan properly.
Right.
Right? Not all retirements last. Am I right?
No, they don't. And for many, many reasons. And a lot of it is because they get bored.
They get bored, or hopefully if you're not staying retired, it's because you're getting bored and not because you're getting broke. We're going to break down the 9 money moves to make in your 60s to make sure that your retirement doesn't just start, but it lasts. We want to make sure that people run out of money. Let me say that again.
Yes.
We want to make sure that people run out of life before money, not money before life.
Right.
Right. So we're going to start with number 9, which actually we talked a little bit about in your 50s, but we're going to get more specific. But number 9 is to have a clear vision of what your retirement will look like.
Right.
So we started that in the 50s, and you actually brought it up, was about getting on board and on track with your spouse. Right.
Right.
And it was about, hey, maybe you actually need to go to counseling, which that was
one of them. That's
yeah,
right.
that was news to me when you were talking about that. But now that you're in your 60s, it's time to take kind of a step further and think about what kind of purpose you'll have after you're done going to work, or do you want work to be a part of your retirement? Right? Because you and I love our jobs.
Well, one of the things with retirement, and we talked about this earlier, was not necessarily total retirement, but retiring from the career that you have to do something different. As an example, let's just say that you love baseball. What about being an umpire for Little League?
So, yeah, absolutely. Or, take people like us where, our job is maybe demanding, but not physically demanding, right? So we might want to do it part-time. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be, retirement doesn't have to be an all or nothing, right? No. It can be a dimmer, and you might want to turn down some of those work duties so that you can turn up more things that you're passionate about.
Exactly. So, where you can say no if you want to versus having to. So you get a call from, I don't know, Rob calling me and say, hey, I need you to do this. And I say, no, I am going on vacation.
That's right.
I don't want to do it.
But I will do some of it next week when I get back.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I hate to see is retirees who have no purpose, no plan, and no vision, because what ends up happening is they fall into this statistic, which is a crazy statistic from Aged Care 101. The average retiree watches 48 hours of TV every week.
Yeah, because they haven't discovered what else they want to do. And so by planning for early in your 60s, by looking forward to doing something maybe a little bit different, you can avoid the 48 hours of TV. But what was the biggest shocker that you found with when people watched 48 hours of TV?
Well, a study out of Australia, and these studies are going to be in the show notes if you want to go check them out, shows that if you watch 6 hours of TV a day, it shortens your lifespan by 5 years. So if you're watching TV 6 hours a day or 48 hours a week, you're hitting that. So now you're going into retirement and you're shortening your life by 5 years.
I know, that could be crazy. Unlike a lot of Coloradans, we're, for the most part, a state of very active people. So we do a lot of things outside. So I'm sure that's probably not typical for our region. But in other regions like the Midwest with such harsh winters and things, it sometimes is.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 9, have a clear vision about what you want your retirement to look like. And whether you're not to want to work and what kind of purpose and vision and plan you're going to have. So, all right, number 8.
Number 8 is now you should be debt-free.
That's right. Something else we've been hammering on for decades, if we look at it. The 30s, the 40s, the 50s, we've been talking about debt. But the bottom line is every dollar you spend on debt in retirement is one less dollar you spend on fun.
Right, fun or family. Because a lot of grandparents, my parents, love to do things for the kids. And if they had debt, may not happen.
Yeah, I tell folks the 2 most successful things you can do in retirement. We'll talk about the second one in a second, but the first is to go into it with little or no debt.
Right.
Because the less debt service you have or payments you have to make towards debt, the more money you have to retire on, but also, have fun on, but also then the less you have to draw down and pay taxes on from all of your retirement funds. So your money will last a lot longer. You'll have a lot more fun.
Yes.
So one of the things I look at when I'm talking to clients going into retirement is maybe they're not debt free. Maybe they didn't get their house paid off. Well, now is maybe the right time to ask the question, do I need to have this 4,000 square foot house?
Right? Well, exactly.
Do I need to have 3 cars in the house anymore? Right. My folks for a while went to 1 car, until my stepdad went back into work again. Right now I'm wondering, will they go back to 1 car?
Right, and it's different for each family. So as an example, I live up in Bailey, an hour, 2 hours from here.
Yep.
Right. Okay. That you need 2 cars because if I need to go, I don't know, mountain biking because I do not play golf. As an example, my wife wants to go do something. We have 1 car. She's stuck. She can ride her horse.
So, or the other 4.
Right. One of the horses.
One of the horses. That's right. Yeah. So don't cheat yourself out of a great retirement because you're spending your retirement money on your debts.
Right. Exactly.
So look at, should I relocate? Should I sell this place? Do I need these cars? Right. Hopefully you've done what you've needed to do and you've paid off your debts. But if not, what are other things that you can do to tackle debts?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. All right, number 7, know your retirement numbers. So this is another one that we kind of started in our 50s, but now it's time to get crystal clear about how much money you need coming in each month to live the life that you want. So I was telling you, Brian, about a conversation I just had yesterday with a client who's retiring on July 1st. And he's crazy excited about it, but he wanted to make sure, are we going to have enough? So as of January 1st, they started a 3-month trial run living on the retirement income that they're going to be getting to find out if they can make it work. And I think that's a great idea.
It is. It's a fantastic idea, and I'm glad somebody is actually doing it. Because the worst thing is that first month, you didn't meet your bills, but you expected to.
So, it's a lot of stress.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress. So you want to know, how much am I going to need to pay my bills going forward? Now, the average for folks that retire, at least at the beginning of their retirement, is to spend at least 80% of what they were spending before they retire.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people think, I'm going to retire and I'm going to spend half. You don't see that at all?
No, the other thing is, I'm going to have paid less in taxes. No, because you don't slow down.
Yeah, that's
right.
Your
slowdown period is about a decade out from your actual retirement age. So if you retire at 65, your slowdown is in 70s.
Yeah, so you're going to be turning on income from different places, right? Your 401k, your Roth IRA, your Social Security. So that's, again, part of those numbers. When you turn on all of those things, what does your guaranteed income sources look like? What are those numbers? What's your Social Security, your pensions, right? And then how much are you missing? You need to know that number as well.
Absolutely.
Right? How much are you short each month? So I love the idea of doing a 3-month analysis, or even better, a 3-month trial run. Can I live on this income once I retire?
And still do the same things that you want to do, though. Right? Don't just sit in the house for 3 months. Oh, yeah, it works.
That's a fake test.
Yeah, we don't want to do a fake test. You want a real life test.
That's right. Don't be cheating to get the answers you want. Do it for real. And then you may find out, oh my gosh, I cannot live on what I thought I could live on. Well, when would you rather find out? Before you retire or after?
Exactly.
Right? With this client, if he would have found out, because he's now trying to, so this is a great example. Can he live on $4,000 a month? Okay, that's what he's trying to find out. Well, if he finds out that he can't, well, then maybe he needs to work for 6 more months, or maybe we need to reallocate some assets. But find out now.
Or you have to downsize your house, possibly, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, not necessarily, right?
Yeah, really, it's not. Unless, I don't know, you live in a single wide.
So then then downsizing is tough.
But tiny homes are, I guess, making a big splash.
I've actually been trying to talk my wife into getting a mountain tiny home.
A 200 square foot home?
400, 399 is, but anyways, okay. I'm getting nowhere.
I'm sure you're not.
Yeah, so, the bottom line is if you were spending $5,000 a month in retirement, the chances are you're going to spend $4,000 a month in retirement, but you need to know that for sure so you can do some good planning and get it set up.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That was number 7. Number 6, paychecks and play checks. So we just talked a minute ago about, the 2 most successful things that I tell folks, or 2 things you need to be successful in retirement. Number 1 is controlling your debt. Number 2 is having some guaranteed income to cover your ongoing and regular bills for your food, clothing, and shelter.
Exactly. The same thing that we just talked about with the last client, because they have money guaranteed coming in that they have, and then we can provide extra.
That's right. So the first thing is your paychecks.
Yes.
You need to have a paycheck. It's not going to be going out from working, but you need to have that guaranteed income stream to cover your food, clothing, shelter, your ongoing
and transportation.
bills.
Those are the big 4 that you have to cover.
But then the other part of it is you need to have some guaranteed income to cover your play checks, which is your ongoing and regular bills for fun. So are you a member of a club? Right? What are your hobbies? You are going to be doing things in retirement regularly for fun.
Yeah.
The difference between retirement and working is when you're working, you get 1 Saturday a month to go out and have fun. And when you're retired, there are 6 Saturdays and a Sunday.
Yes.
So you're going to be spending more on fun. You need to have guaranteed income to cover those sources. So where does that come from? Well, you got your Social Security.
Yep.
Right? You got your pensions.
If you have a pension.
If you're lucky enough to have
401k.
401k.
IRAs.
I said Social Security. Annuity payments.
Possibly, yeah.
So you want to look at what what do you have set up now as guaranteed income versus how much you need as guaranteed income, and then work with a planner, an advisor to set up some guaranteed income streams for your paychecks and your paychecks. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's number 9, 8, 7, and 6. I think that's a great place to take a break. We're going to come back next week and continue on with this conversation with, I don't know if we can get 5 through 1 in. We might have to break it up into another
Maybe.
one.
We'll see.
Because the more we get down to it, the more important they get.
That's right.
But that's it for this week. So hopefully you got some good information. You got some ideas there that can help you prepare for retirement. If you know somebody that's in their 60s and getting ready to retire, please share this episode with them. Also, go give us a like on YouTube, rate us on whatever app you're listening to this podcast on. And if you've got personal questions about your own money puzzles, please email them to questions@yourmoneypuzzle.com. I miss anything?
I think we're good.
All right. We'll be back next week with the rest of the 60s, or maybe over 2 weeks. We'll see.
Maybe. It's a lot of information.
Yeah. Until then, have fun, be safe, go out and do something to improve your money puzzle. Your future self will thank you for it. See ya.
Registered representative of and securities offered through Securities Management and Research, Inc., SM&R. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through BFC Planning, Inc. Edgen Insurance and Financial Services, Johnson Financial Services, SM&R, American National Family of Companies, and BFC Planning are independent entities. There are risks involved with investing which may include market fluctuation and possible loss of principal value. Particular investments may not be suitable for certain situations. Carefully consider the risks and possible consequences involved prior to making an investment decision. Our firm does not provide legal or tax advice. Be sure to consult with your own legal and tax advisors before taking any action that may have tax implications.